Greetings and welcome back to JBZ Media. I'm JBZ, your host, a Houston, Texas-based podcaster. JBZ Media is dedicated to providing engaging discussions on a variety of topics, including entertainment, informative content, and fostering interpersonal connections with a diverse audience. Today, I'm honored to be joined by two esteemed medical professionals, Miss Erin and Miss Shelby.
Hi.
Who brings a wealth of experience to the studio. Our discussion today will be centered on the impact of working in mental health on the well-being of healthcare professionals. Before we begin, we encourage you to like, subscribe, share our videos, and activate the notification bell to stay informed about our latest content. Ladies, welcome.
Hello.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
Man, I know we've been waiting for this.
We have been.
Weeks. So
I almost canceled, but I didn't. We're here.
We made it.
Yeah, I'm glad your family came.
Yes.
So anyway, let's do it. Let's start. Miss Shelby, tell us what you have.
So I just wanted to talk about what we do every day, like what we see. If you really care about these patients, you talk to them and you want to know more about why they're there, and instead of just pushing meds down their throat, which is, this is my perspective, I guess. Yeah. Is why are they there? What formula led to their now? What happened to them? And it's hard, and we can go into the effects of what that does to us personally, taking that home and stuff like that. But it's a hard job, but I think it's a rewarding job. But it's kind of a chasing your tail job, kind of hopeless job sometimes. Now, after doing it almost 15 years, I feel hopeless in it for them, and that's something I want to change and maybe start something. Housing, they need, we become housing for them more than help for them mentally. What I've seen is housing.
The housing part?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's...
So anyone who doesn't know us, we all work in mental health nursing. Yes. We've done some other stuff here and there over the years. Mm-hmm. I've been doing this for 10 years, Shelby 15, Joe 11. And, working with mental health patients, it's kind of like a subset of healthcare that people don't really want to work in. A lot of, the common perception of our patients are they're dirty, they're scary, they're bizarre, unpredictable. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of keeps a lot of healthcare workers away. But in this work, you really get to see a wide variety of displays of humanity through people. And
people just like us.
I often tell my patients when I admit them is, there's no judgment for anything that you could tell me. And truly, there's no person on planet Earth that is 100% mentally well.
Right.
And the only thing that separates me from you is literally a desk. I'm a whole patient most days.
Me too.
And I think everybody
yeah.
is. So they're a lot more like us than we think.
Yeah.
And people end up in our care because of a string or, even an isolated incident of a very bad day. A string of very bad days, mm-hmm. Collapsed interpersonal relationships, lacking support.
Loss of jobs, anything.
Marriages,
mm-hmm.
their dog. It could be anything that kind of sets a person on a course for, spiraling in a negative way.
Raising an autistic child. I have a lot of parents that come in and they're just exhausted. They want to end it all because mm-hmm. they can't figure out how to help this child, and it's an all-day process with them. They don't have any money. They're trying to it's just horrible. So, like you said, it's a variety of people there, teachers, mm-hmm. Everybody.
So do you think is the staff or administration or people in general are judgmental when dealing with them, or
I think there's been a stigma to mental health and trauma, because that's what this is trauma, abuse and stuff like that in the system, dating back to when they were tying children. People don't understand unless they're directly impacted by mental health. If they have a family member that is an alcoholic, because we forget that's what people come into our hospitals for drug and, but it's, unless it directly affects you, most people out of sight, out of mind. Same thing with a lot of other things in this world.
Generally, I think the system is broken, and I think that like in the past decade I've seen it get worse over time. And
bad.
Shelby, we even had an orientee that was just observing us the other day at work that summarized it completely when she said, mental health care is just like regular health care. It is for profit and not
It's a
for people
business,
anymore. It's
she
a
said.
business. Like we are profiting.
I've had a lot of people saying that.
Off of taking care of these people, but then they're not any better when they leave, and they still leave without any resources.
Zero.
Which sends them right back to us or another facility.
A revolving door.
Yeah.
But it's set up that way. It's just like with anything else. It's set up that way so that they come back. It's continuing the profit. And I see it so broken that I want to turn, things in, and go, this is wrong. In many places that I've been in, and when I've worked at other facilities, it's just crazy. But there are things you can do, and that's where I want to go with it at some point in my life, is maybe help them in a different way, get those resources for them.
Right.
We know, the thing is I feel like we have a tool belt, an invisible tool belt in our soul that we carry around, and we've done this for so long that we have those tools. And so and we know what I would do is use those people that we've met along the way, especially the patients, to help facilitate a new, some kind of program that could help get them more care, because the hospitals are not doing it.
The system is broken. And
Yes.
it's like
Corruption.
Well, I mean, there's an element of that, I'm sure, but it feels very impossible really wanting to help people and caring about this. Like, this is my purpose. I wake up trying to help these people that the system is
Not helping.
limiting the ability to help. Basically, like, it feels impossible being in the position of somebody who really cares about this patient population, but it feels like you're David and you're standing against Goliath, this whole system that is set up to hinder your
what you're doing,
genuine attempts to help. So that's really frustrating, and that contributes to our mental health. Seeing this hopeless system and people that are desperate for change, and to not have to keep relying on this pattern of like seeking inpatient care just to make sure they have a bed or a roof over their head or a hot meal 3 times a day. Like it definitely impacts you as somebody who witnesses this, and you only see the issue growing bigger and getting worse over time.
Going back to the stigma thing, I think a lot of people, I remember growing up and it being from a small town, but we would see people because we were on 35, a big highway, and we would see people throughout. And it was, not that I was raised that way, but I remember thinking, oh, they must be a drug addict, or something, and not thinking of what really their story was or whatever. I think that's just kind of passed down through generations of what you think
This person
that person is or what they've come from. And then we get to see that it's so much different than that. There are a lot of drug addicts out there, and a lot of them are in drugs and alcohol, but it's because of a different, I say A plus B equals C to them all the time. And I say your A and your B equals your C right now. You're in this right now because of all these things, but you have to help yourself. Sadly, I've been telling my patients lately, you have to help yourself.
Right. No, and I get that, but like you have to think why wouldn't they want to escape their reality?
I know.
Their reality sucks.
Well, I've always told them this is temporary.
think-
This is temporary. And I've had a few patients in the last year say, is 30 years temporary?
Yeah.
Is 30 years of this temporary?
But do you think their lifestyle is a choice, or is just the circumstance?
I think both. I think some of it they give up. I think they get used. They don't know how. They don't have any people around them helping them try to get a different outcome, and so they're stuck. I think that they come into our facility seeking that help and they don't get it, and then they go right back into the same environment. You can't put an alcoholic into a bar, right? And you can't put all of those things back into the same environment and expect change. But it's not all of the facility's job to do that either. They have to make some sort of change. But the thing is, most of our people don't even have an ID. They don't have a car. They don't have clothes. They don't have anything. They're on the street. What they do have gets stolen from them. Mm-hmm. And then we, lose their stuff in our facilities somehow and don't get it back to them. Those kind of things happen all the time. And it's really sad,
Mm-hmm.
and talk about bringing it home, and I've ruined my life almost, like, with bringing it home to our family. It's just, it almost has destroyed our family in some ways, my marriage and being,
so because the energy from work in the mental.
You hear some of the worst things that you can barely, or if you talk to them and you really listen and you're wanting to know, that's the kind of nurse I am, and everybody that knows me knows the kind of that's the person I am.
Yeah, I know you're very passionate.
It's not that I'm that nurse, I'm just that person, and so I end up being that way. But I hear the worst of the worst, and I know for me personally, it affects me to where I don't have that 15 minutes of driving home is not enough time to de-escalate my brain and be a normal mom when I come in the door to, either more loud stuff or complete silence from hearing and going da 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 and then just hearing nothing. It can just be very hard.
So you say it pretty much like okay, sometimes you bring that energy home, right?
I always bring that energy.
How does that affect you in your relationship?
It has been very hard because my husband doesn't work in this industry, but basically he's very kind-hearted. He knows what I'm doing there. He's never seen me do it, but he's seen me out in my life, and he knows what I'm doing up there. And he knows, but at times he's like, hell, you've got to leave that at home, at work. You can't keep bringing that home. You've got to, and it's hard to, not think about it all the time and worry about what's going to happen to those people when you become close to them. I have friends on this, and I say this all the time, but I have friends I've known longer than I've known you that are on the street.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it comes down to, like, I used to have really poor energetic boundaries when I was at work, and I used to work in the PICU, or the psychiatric intensive care unit, and it's chaotic there. The energy is weird with a bunch of people that are psychotic or aggressive and not in contact with reality, and you sort of like leech that energy because they don't have energetic boundaries either, and it gets absorbed into your system.
Right.
And so, like, I just always felt like there was a dark cloud hanging over me. And I had a partner for, more than half a decade who was also in healthcare, but not involved in psychiatric care at all. But, like, I know that I brought a lot of that home. And I know that caused tensions in my relationship, and as a parent with my children, as a partner, a friend, just generally that, like, if I had tighter, firmer boundaries and I wasn't absorbing so much of, like, that chaos from other people, I don't think I would have encountered those issues, or they wouldn't have been as severe as they were. And, like, like, just me working in that occupation at that time, definitely impacted all of my other relationships outside that facility.
So I've had some people. Oh no, this is just part of my experience. Whatever. We do a lot. We work a lot. Long hours of working. We get burnt out. Sometimes, when you get burnt out, when you come home,
You're angry.
so, yeah,
Well, you might have been
Is
beaten
there-
up. You might have had your whole nurse's station ripped down. You might have had
Somebody
your
try to hang
doctor
themselves.
ugly to you, who doesn't even see the patient, who just doesn't
This is patient like
do
2,
their
3 seconds
job.
and
I mean,
gone.
they don't even see them. They see them walking down the hall and they wave, and then that's them seeing them. And I don't get me started on that,
That's
but
literally all they want.
but that's all, yeah. And the patients, all they want to see is the doctor. And sadly, they see us, which they are appreciative of us, but they know that the doctor is the one that's supposed to be the one. That's what they've been told their whole lives. The doctor's going to save me. And I told them, no, they're not. No, they're not.
Some of the patients also think that we can pull the magic.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have all the power to give them medication that they want,
No.
treatment that they want.
Yeah.
They think that we could do all that. They don't know the limitations.
Sadly, it's reversed the way that I see it. And I'm not downing all doctors, but a lot of doctors, it should be reversed. We should be the doctors and they should be the nurses. They come in and do little. I mean, we do all the stuff for them. We know what's wrong with them. We monitor their meds. We, encourage them to change their meds. I mean, I know for me, they're always like, well, what, should I know some doctors are like, what do you think we should give them?
Right.
Because we know what is working and what's not. The meds that are out there that are having terrible side effects on these patients and still given to them and just given more, EPS meds. And it's just a cycle that's really sad, because we forget that all those meds that they're getting is just like the street drugs, right? People go, oh, well, they're doing all the street drugs. Well, a lot of these people are on a ton of psych meds, have never touched drugs, and they are effed up. I mean, because they have TD, they have all kinds of stuff wrong with them. But the sad thing is, the effects of personally, finding someone that I connected with heavily, finding them hanging, dead, affected me tremendously. And to, just not have the control over any of it, to realize that these people, when they decide that that's what they want to do, they're going to do it. And to be in that kind of environment where you just don't expect that to really happen on your shift.
Right.
And then, things like that happen, and then you're supposed to just go out of there and be okay the next day. Mm-hmm. And that's not true. We put things, or I do, out in the corner of my brain and try to not think about it, but it's a hard job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But somebody's got to do it.
Miss Erin.
What's up?
So tell us your experience working in a hostile environment.
In a hostile environment. Oh, man.
Mm.
So, I mean, in the PICU, like, my bulk of experience is in the PICU. And, a lot of people don't like to hear no, and there's a difference.
Do you think most people know what a PICU is?
I mean,
here?
It's the
Acuity.
most acute.
The most
psychiatric
acute
patients.
psychiatric
The patients that present a harm to themselves or others. They're delusional, they're manic, they're psychotic, hallucinating, they're aggressive, they have voices that tell them to hurt themselves or other people. And, I've been put in lots of different positions where somebody wanted to hurt me, but thankfully in those environments, there are lots of big, strong men most of the time, right? There was one time where we had a frequent flyer at one of my hospitals who would come in on PCP and just insanely strong.
Yeah.
And the only male in the building had decided to leave early. I guess he didn't tell anybody. And so this guy is up in the intake department, and there are, a hallway with like 10 rooms up there. And he's literally flipping these huge, heavy armchairs out of these rooms in the hallway. And so I'm like, oh crap, like we literally have no male staff. and I was supervising that day. And so I go tell intake, like, I'm about to call the police. And they're like, you can't call the police. And I said, I can call whoever I want to in this situation, because there ain't a single one of us that's not going to get injured trying to go hands-on with this guy. And I'm not ever, ever, ever going to compromise staff safety in trying to wrangle someone. I'll let them out the front door first, to be honest. You know? Because you don't know how dangerous a person who's straight off PCP
especially
is.
on that.
Like,
It's
truly,
incredible
it's
strength.
Terrifying.
I've seen a small little guy lose it.
You know, I had another patient. This is way early in my career. This kid who was bipolar, young guy, like early 20s, little touch of mental retardation too. He was found in a shower with a female patient, and so we had to put restrictions on him to not go down to the cafeteria for dinner, and he was so angry. He tried to bust through doors to kill me because I had to restrict him for trying to get a little action in the shower. It happens.
Yeah.
These psych ward babies, guys.
These are things that people don't know.
Yeah, like I've had people flip out over all kinds of things, you know, and most people in a PICU don't have the insight to listen to the rationale for why. They just know you're telling them no. And most people, don't like to be told no.
Right.
So.
Shelby, what you have? Any experience?
No. Well, usually most people for some reason respond to me really well. I'm the drug dealer though in the hospital.
Don't say that.
Well, I am. I'm the med nurse, but I'm also very like they just for some reason my voice, because they can sense even the sickest people. I've read about it. Like if you really care, the sickest people can sense that. It's like a dog, right? My mom's a dog whisperer. Okay, but they can sense that you care, but not really. I can't really think of a lot. I mean, I've had people tear the nurse's station down and another girl run up and say, oh, did you like that? And then rip the rest of the nurse's station down. But I was screaming with her crazy because that's one thing I was going to say is you got to kind of be a little crazy to work with the crazy. And so, but no, I've one thing that I was going to bring up though, and I wanted to make sure that was brought up on this podcast is the synthetic drug use that's happening in our country right now, especially in Texas. I don't know about the other states, but because we're not a legal state for marijuana, I'm not endorsing it, but I'm saying that the synthetic stuff that you get at the gas stations and all of the smoke shops is destroying people's brains, and it's an epidemic, and it needs to be spoken about. And
it's in the young people,
not even just the young; it's young and old, and it is the kratom, the delta, the K2 is. But that stuff has been around a while. This stuff is stuff you can walk into the gas station and buy, and they're selling it to the underage kids. My daughter just told me that they sell to the kids at school, and it's just destroying their brain. Like you can give them more meds than you can give anybody, and it doesn't faze them. They don't talk right again. Their brains, but really spacey. It's just really sad.
They never find it back to their baseline.
No.
Once somebody has like a psychosis event from something like that,
it's that bad.
They can't ever recover fully from it.
I think I wish that I knew what happens up there, because if something happens, there's some kind of break in the neuro pathway or something dies in there, but something happens with the synthetic stuff. And I had a kid tell me the other day, and he said, Miss Shelby, do they sell the meth in your gas stations on your side of town? And I was like, yes, because I didn't think, but he was talking about the vapes, the weed vapes. They're the synthetic weed, but it's like meth and like heroin and different things. So anyway, I just wanted to touch base on that and make sure people, it's not on drug screen. So people, they go, oh, he's psychotic, and they throw him in these institutions like ours, and they're not schizophrenic. I've yet to meet a true, just almost schizophrenic. It's usually drug induced. It's long-term medication use. It's severe trauma that is not dealt with that has caused people to have multiple personalities. I've met 2 people with, like 8 different personalities, but they all were severely, severely abused over the years. And so that, there's a lot that goes in with that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to touch base on that for sure.
What about you, Job? What about aggression? What's that?
Yeah, what about you? Because you're the bouncer in the house.
Yeah, you might think that I'm the biggest dude in whatever most places I work, because I'm 6'4".
Yeah, when you're at work with us, I'm like, I ain't got to worry today.
But I'm the most abused. Stuff. Patients have abused me a lot. You might think that people might assume they're scared of me because of my stature, but that don't work like that. Wow. I've been beat. I've been physically assaulted by patients, beaten in the face. You see my face. I've been hit a few times, whatever. All these things work, but the only thing, most of the time, we you work with. I feel like when you're working this that kind of environment, you're supposed to be together. You do things the right way, more teamwork. But sometimes you might find out like you're ending up into a situation whereby you're trying to put a patient into safety, but whatever you're bringing, the other guys are not doing. You're not in the same.
Nobody's got the legs and the arms.
Yeah, so right. That's how I've been assaulted a few times.
Things aren't in all.
I'm sitting here and I still have the job.
I've noticed over time, like you're a little more hesitant to get involved in situations because of
trust.
Trust.
Well, there's got to be a good plan between the group, of what's going to happen, and there's usually not lately. Sometimes in healthcare.
Well, I mean, I'm always down, but I'm tiny, and what am I going to
do?
Right.
I've always given the medicine.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to de-escalate.
So on let's talk about work and life balance, Miss Erin.
I mean, so work-life balance is difficult working 12-hour shifts because you have to really find a way to prioritize taking care of yourself, making sure you're eating well. Like where I work currently, we're so busy that I just have to pack like portable pocket snacks that I can eat most of the time. I don't really get to take a sit-down lunch often. So you have to make sure you're eating. You have to make sure you're sleeping. The stress of our job, for me, sometimes interferes with my quality of sleep. And I'll just ruminate at night and my brain doesn't turn off.
I feel the same.
Make sure you're exercising. And that seems almost impossible before or after a 12, 13-hour day as well. So, work-life balance in the life that we live with these shifts and our chosen specialty, often seems like a good idea, but maybe not the most practical idea, to be consistent with. Like it's hard to achieve consistent work-life balance in our occupation, I think.
I was going to say, I don't balance it at all.
Yeah. So how you manage? I know you have kids, you have a husband.
My offset is I sell vintage antique furniture. I have an online store and I'm going to do some stuff with that. I'm busy with it all the time, but it's my thing to keep me occupied when I'm off work. When it's my thing, but it's there's not really, because even when I'm doing that, I'm still stressed out because I've got to go back to it. And, but I still want to do it. I just want to do it on a different scale. I want to get out of the hospital setting and get some sort of housing for them. But the thing is running. I used to run a lot. My friend told me, she's like, Shelby, you can't run forever. You have to balance that. So I take self-care days. I rest when I need to. I'm going to rest today some, and just, kind of once a month, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get my nails done, or this is my day to, sit in there and wash my hair and shave my legs and people do that every day. I don't. I have days where I do that because we're, like you said, we're gone working. Then we have other things. We have children. We have, a lot.
Yeah. All right. Do you feel they pay us enough for what you do?
Absolutely not for me, because I'm an LVN. Y'all are both RNs, and You have your BSN, don't you? So, that's my fault for not, doing more school, but for what I do, no. But the thing is I've come to terms with that. I feel like I do, and my pay is my reward. My patients tell me, they thank me, they hug me, they say they miss me, that I've changed their life. Those things are really my pay. And it's the tools that I have now in my, my toolbox to now go help them in the future.
Yeah.
That's my pay.
Well,
okay.
Well, when we're talking about pay, I would say no, but only if you look at it like through this lens, right?
Right.
We have actors and sports figures that literally don't contribute to the well-being of any other person aside from sheer entertainment value that get paid millions a year. They seem useless to me. Honestly, like you really aren't impacting any change in the world when you swing the bat.
Well, even the techs, who do a lot for the patients, and they're not the doctors make a lot of money, but they spend 5 minutes with them. It's all out of whack. The balance of that is flipped. It's with a lot of things, though.
Well, I'm just saying that people make hundreds of millions.
It's disgusting. Look at football players.
About anyone.
Look at football players and athletes, or not. Everything.
There are people like teachers, policemen, firemen.
Oh. I know.
Nurses, our techs, veterinary, workers.
Right.
That I'm like, man, like if they could do something to like balance the scales of what feels kind of like injustice, I know they never will.
No.
Because, we love our mindless entertainment around here in America for sure. But it feels like when you look at that, yes, we are way
teachers.
Underpaid.
Look at school teachers.
Yeah, I had teachers, but
we
are way underpaid compared to that nonsense.
Right.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Like
you can make a lot of
are dangerous.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. That's the way that I look at it.
I'm gonna go back to the question that I asked earlier, right? About the working in a hostile environment. But the response you gave me, that was you talked about with patients, right?
Yeah, a couple people that tried to kill me.
So now I'm bringing the same question, but on fellow staff. It might be administration, it might be fellow nurses, techs, whatever. Have you ever had any experience like that working
where
with,
they don't
staff that you don't get along with, or what have been your experiences?
Well, mostly it's my female bosses that don't like me for whatever reason.
Because you're going to steal their job.
No, definitely not. I don't want any of that administrative stuff, honestly.
I know.
Not at all. But yeah, I don't think I've ever, like my techs know that I'm 10 toes down to make sure that they have whatever they need. I regularly buy my staff lunch to make sure you guys get to eat today. Yeah. You support me, so I'm going to make sure you have whatever you need to be successful. So it's never like the people who are beneath me, honestly, that I'm responsible for like supervising. That's never the problem. It's always administration, unfortunately. Or
give us some experience.
They're not back there.
Yeah.
And they're not seeing what we're needing. The things that that's happening. The things that the patients need, they're going to, we're like all of a sudden, oh, you're leaving? Where are you going? To a shelter.
Yeah.
We're going to a shelter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you're going back to your dad's house? The one who beat the hell out of you the other day? Oh, great.
Yeah, no, you remember, what was it, just a week ago, where I felt completely unsupported.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was all female staff, which that happens sometimes at smaller facilities, and like a patient came in that was involuntary, and that happens. They have to come into the facility. They don't have a choice. Like they are being brought in against their will to be admitted for care, right? And he was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not coming through those doors. And I had to call policemen to come drag him. They literally dragged him through the doors to the facility.
After we had to give him a shot.
Yeah, and,
But
Yeah, and there just isn't a lot of support, and you have to make decisions on the fly that's going to keep everyone safe.
But then if you do something wrong that you're really not trained to do and there's no policy on,
right, you're in
then
a gray
you're
area.
in trouble.
So you have to make really
On the fly decisions.
Yeah, quick decisions on the fly that are going to minimally impact everyone's state.
Because you could hurt a patient.
Yeah, you could
We've
hurt a
had
patient,
we've
they
had
could get
people
hurt.
accidentally hurt people before and they lost their
Right.
job and they were great employees, but because the situation turned out bad, they lost their job.
Right. So you have to think of like what is going to produce the least amount of harm to anybody in that circumstance.
Right.
Okay. So, what about short staffing?
Oh, it's killing me lately. Like, I mean, the way, well, even short staffing, but the way things are getting set up on purpose to cut down on the amount of jobs that are there. So that you're doing 2 and 3 people's jobs instead of your just one.
Right.
And, I mean, and that's what they're even up in administration. Those administrators are doing 2 and 3 people's jobs in a lot of ways. And so that's where it kind of trickles down. Now, actually, are they actually doing those jobs? I don't know. But their job titles have spread out, in a lot of areas and stuff, from what I've seen. But in our situation, yes, it's tiresome.
Right.
Okay.
And that's a systemic problem
It's
too.
systemic.
It has to do with money, trying to minimize like the overhead costs and
Right.
maximize productivity and efficiency.
Right.
Let's see exactly how far we can push everybody,
Yeah.
how much everybody's capable of and what they can withstand.
Yeah.
And
If that works, we'll keep doing
yeah,
it
we're going to keep pushing it
Yeah.
to see like how much more you guys
Yeah.
can take on your shoulders.
before you break. But in Texas, you can't break because there's no,
Right. So,
you know.
I mean, that's what I see is that's everywhere. The
Mm-hmm.
short staffing is everywhere. Like, this is a rough field to be in, generally speaking, anyway. But, like, when you start mounting those extra pressures on people's shoulders, and, like, we're responsible for actual lives and well being of people,
keeping them alive.
multiple, it just feels like, man, this is not worth it. I don't care how much you pay me. Sometimes it's not worth
Yeah.
the conditions that
We're
we're
in.
expected to manage
Yes.
and do it well.
Yeah.
Like that.
You have to have a good team for that. And that's why I've been where I'm at for a long time. Usually there's a good team that I've been with and the people like I said, I have no patients on the street for longer than I've known a lot of people that I've known here in Houston.
Yeah.
And they're my friends. And I go, man, I'm sorry, you got to go back out there, but we're here if you need us. And then they come back.
Mhm.
But it's awesome.
Cliques and discrimination at work.
Politically, I saw a lot of that going on during the, it all started with COVID and I've seen it, continue since then, big time. And in the patients and
Okay.
I mean, I've seen it go several different ways.
Yeah.
I think that depending on who's in a position of authority, like it can be based on race a lot, and it goes any direction. Like it can be, favoring one race over the other,
Right.
just depending on the dynamic there. But yeah, I've definitely seen cliques. Like I could say, no matter where I've been, I definitely don't think I'm a favorite of administration, but I don't really care to be. I'm there for the patients and my staff that work alongside me, and
right.
and I get overwhelmingly positive reviews from all those guys. So to be honest, what you think truly doesn't really matter to me. But,
Because the customers
Right.
love me.
right.
Yeah.
And the customers are always right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get that I'm kind of a thorn in, people's sides sometimes because I'm going to advocate for what these people need.
We are advocates though. That's the thing. And those people get in trouble sometimes. I've been in
Definitely.
trouble this whole journey.
Yeah.
The loud one, the one that's always telling the truth and telling the stories and trying to get things changed. And that can get you in trouble.
Yeah, people don't really seem to like that.
Yeah.
very much.
No.
So anyway, so winding out, right? So, what changes could be done to improve our work situations or things that we go through?
I think the top's got to be strong. I think it's got to start from the top. I think the leaders, the owners have to be aware of what's going on. The people that are can make a difference need to know what's happening. And if they can't, then you need to, I don't know, go somewhere else maybe, or try to, I don't know. But it's got to start from the top. For me, I continue to do what I do it the best I can. To tell the patient, really, you got to fight for yourself. You've got to do this. Look for other resources out there.
Patient teachings.
Yes, give them tools while I can and while they're in my care to go out there and get the help that they need. If they can, if there are resources. There's just so many sick people or people that need help and don't have the resources or family or anything to help them do it. So I think that's the thing, is in my position, is just try to keep giving them the resources I can and telling them that, you got to help yourself and not rely on administration. That's because they're about making money. It is sadly a business. I wish it wasn't. It used to be. It wasn't. It was a little more about patient care. And I heard a nurse friend of mine say the other day, they want you to act like you're taking care of the patient, but not really take care of the patient. Because if you're really taking care of the patient,
that takes time.
It takes time. It takes you not having to work on all these other things while you're trying to take care of them. And so you have to realize that it's set up to not really be about the patient right now.
It's pretty much empathy, not sympathy.
Yeah.
Our expectation is empathy, not sympathy.
Well, no, I don't think they care about any of that, as long as
it's documented.
As long as the state says it's good and the documentation's right.
I agree.
The governing boards will agree.
I agree.
Fine.
I agree on that.
That's why it feels,
I agree on that. Yeah.
That's why it feels impossible, because truly there isn't a lot that individuals can do.
Yeah.
It has to, the values of an organization have to align with what we're actually trying to do for them.
Yes.
And
True.
they never will, because they their top priority is financial gain.
Well, sadly to me, and this is an opinion, but psychiatry is medication regimen. It's not treatment. It's not change and healing. Oh, you're sad. Let me give you this pill. Oh, your dad died. Oh, let me give you this pill. Well, you should be fucking sad when your dad died. You're supposed to be sad.
Right.
True.
You got to learn. There's coping skills.
Yes.
There's things you do.
Yeah.
And
Apart from
those things
medication.
aren't done in these facilities. So that's the thing. It takes, I think, real change is going to take people who do this like us, who decide to go have a facility that they can, make a big difference. And that's my goal. I know that's her goal.
You have to determine
way.
the root cause of all the things and address that.
Yeah.
A plus B equals C.
It's just like a pill mill,
Exactly.
without addressing any of the substantial issues. And so that's why we see what we see.
Yep. But we're grateful to be here. And man, it's been great to talk about this stuff, because there's so much more we can discuss. I mean, there's so many more things.
And to be clear, I'm not, dogging any one institution. I think it is widely a systemic mental health care problem. And this is the trend. And that's why there is no change.
Right.
This is the acceptable standard everywhere.
Yes.
So
it's not in one place.
No,
it's everywhere. Just like the synthetic.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Ladies, I would like to express my sincere appreciation for the time we spent together in the studio discussing personal experiences and concerns related to working in the medical field. I also trust that our audience has gained valuable insights into our experiences, as this work is both fulfilling and demanding. Audience, I encourage you to continue supporting our channel. And remember, this is JB's studio. Continue liking, sharing, and subscribing. We have additional engaging and informative content planned for future releases.